I was thinking about this afternoon as I was thinking about our conversation and thinking about this remarkable thing about Jesus that he lived. I mean, he was, there are some parallels in a way between Jesus and other ancient sages who live very ascetic lives. And ascetic, not necessarily being someone who denies themselves a lot of things, but someone who just makes very different choices and limits. And there's other ascetics, And so I was like, well, okay, so Jesus is a great ethical model. And I thought about this most notable thing about Jesus' life, which is that he seems to have intended and allowed, certainly, to happen, that he provoked the Roman Empire and its regional kind of representatives into crucifying him, which is not something most other sages did, and not something that seems like a great ethical model for anyone, except that he conceived of it as this kind of going to the heart of human darkness on behalf of humanity. That's how, as best as I think we can read back into, from Jesus' own account of how he describes, he says, the Son of Man came to not to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom. And he sees his journey to the cross that way. And so I was thinking, what does that say to us? But I couldn't put this together until you were asking that question. And I think sacrifice of all kinds, not always to the extent of sacrificing one's life, is the ultimate renunciation of magic. Because magic is the dream of control and of power for my own benefit. Real magicians, and there are still real magicians, there are pagans who seek to harness what they believe to be the powers of magic, and they define magic as the bending of the universe by will. And the will, whose will is it? It's my will. And I think that what's lurking behind all this beautiful magical technology we have is the dream to have my will. And when I sacrifice, I relinquish, I say, I am not going to live that way. And I actually think that does have to be part of our lives in some way. I mentioned money's one of the original two kind of magical technologies. And there's 4 things you can do with money. You can spend it and keep the experiences or goods you purchase. You can save it, which basically means keep it safe for some future use. You can invest it, which means put it at risk. That's the difference with saving. Investing is more higher risk in the hope of outsized returns. Or you can give it. I can just give you money. And the first 3 all keep me in control. But when I give money, I say the very thing that our culture tells me will make me safe and in control of my life and able to kind of bend the universe to my will. I'm just relinquishing it. And it's why giving is the most important thing to do with money, because it actually teaches you to have a healthy relationship with the part that you do retain for the moment control over. But it's because it frees you. The act of practicing sacrifice frees you of the desire to do magic.